You do have a culture problem, and we'll leave on that note. All right, man. Before we get into the rest of our week 13 observations, man, I want to go ahead and break down the game from the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. Because honestly, that was the only interesting game pretty much for the whole day. You know, some of the best games came on Thursday. We had big game. Well, I tell you that, but we did not have big games on Thursday. Cowboys and Giants. The fact that was the 425 game was that should be illegal.
It ended up being.
Oh God.
Well, the Bears and Lions was all right. Like that
was
had
great. It had a lot of drama. It ended great, right? But this was really the marquee game of the entire day, and this is a huge game for two people involved in that game. One person was Lamar Jackson. The other person was Saquon Barkley. That was going into it. This was a battle for the MVP supremacy, whatever you want to call it. But what really happened, and my biggest takeaway from this game, Justin Tucker was on watch. Yeah, no, he's not on watch anymore, bro. He's fully washed. He's cooked. Take him out the oven. He's burnt crisp. He's black. He's black.
He's overcooked, man.
He's overcooked. We're in a situation because, like, I wanted to come and have, some animus towards the Baltimore Ravens for blowing another game, a big game that they need, and not coming to dominate the way they're supposed to. But when your Hall of Fame kicker misses 2 field goals and a point after in a game that you guys lost 12-24, when you were up 9-0, it's hard to blame anybody but the kicker because he took you out of the game entirely. Like
that's a whole touchdown right there. Two field goals and an extra point. That's a whole touchdown. That's a whole touchdown process right there. Gone.
And the biggest problem is not that he missed these 2 field goals, is that not only has he missed 2 field goals today, it's going back to last year. He's been ass. You can't go into the playoffs with this man. Like, you can't do it.
No.
Like, I have my criticism for Lamar Jackson. He missed a lot of throws today, and he was good for the most part, but it just is another game where it's just like, all right, dog, we want you to go to that next level, and I'll get to that down the road, but I want to know, how do you feel about the Baltimore Ravens, dog? Because it's just like the Miami Dolphins. I know it's people in Baltimore and Maryland and the DMV area that's saying the same thing, bro. Here we go again with these fucking Baltimore Ravens, dog. So what was your biggest takeaway, Rod?
The thing about the Baltimore Ravens, Herbie, it's like when they acquired Derrick Henry and we saw the impact he could make early in the season. Obviously, we were all thinking, like the whole league was thinking, all right, this could be the move that puts them over the top and can allow them to beat the Chiefs to finally get over the hump and get to a Super Bowl. But when I watch the Baltimore Ravens, Herbie, number one, I feel like not every game, but in a lot of games, they don't really utilize Derrick Henry that much, as much as like you would think they would. Like you went and acquired a guy who's supposed to be a difference maker. They use him in this game, but I've seen previous games where it seems like Baltimore really relies on the pass. Number two, Herbie, the defense that they have that they're known for, the defense that is normally shutting everybody down, it has not been that this season, Herbie. The Baltimore Ravens secondary has been a weakness for them. Their defense overall this season has been a weakness for them, which part of the reason why Lamar is having better numbers this year than he did his MVP year was because Lamar won MVP last year for being the best player on the best team. That's why he won it. Like literally, that's the only reason why.
Because they had to give it to somebody, and they don't, and they don't give it to any other position but the quarterbacks anymore at this point. So
right, they had to give it to him, right? So you watch him in this game, and you know how great Lamar can be, and you see him. And listen, before I even go on with the Ravens, Herbie, I was thinking about it, and I don't know if you've been doing this on purpose. I don't think you have, but I know that you are an NFC East fan at heart, and I've realized I don't think we talked about the Eagles all season. I don't think we talked about the Eagles. I don't think we've talked about the Eagles all season, but Herbie.
Listen, man, trust me. If it wasn't the game of the week, we would not be talking about these fuckers, dog. Like, I don't want to talk about them dudes. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Hey.
Fuck the Eagles. Fuck Philly. Fuck the whole city, man. Fuck Joel Embiid. Fuck Jared McCain. You feel me? Fuck everybody in that whole city, man. Like, that's how I feel, bro. Like,
truth be told, though, hey, you should be saying fuck the Giants. Because in my opinion, the Giants letting Saquon go to these niggas saved their season. It saved, right, Herbie. Think about this. We finally have a non-quarterback outside of Tyreek, because Tyreek was in that conversation last year. But this year, the non-quarterback in the conversation is not McCaffrey, it's not Tyreek, it's Saquon.
It's
And
Saquon, and it's just like, listen, I'm gonna get to Saquon because at the end of the day, he deserves his flowers. I have no ill will towards Saquon Barkley. He's too nice of a dude for me to hate. He's the only person, even when he was on the Giants, and everybody knows I hate the Giants more than anything on the planet Earth, right? The Eagles are a very close second. I can't hate Saquon. He's too fucking awesome. He's great, right? Like I can't hate Saquon because I actually enjoy when a supreme talent gets on a team that lets him show his talent, right? Like one of the biggest things about the Giants were they were holding him back, and it's obvious they were holding him back. Like
clearly, like
between him getting hurt and between them having a terrible offensive line, he had to work really hard to get 100 yards. Bro, this game last week against the Rams, he had 233 yards out of his 270 before contact. He had 233 yards before contact. This game, the Baltimore Ravens have the number one rush defense right now. He still broke for 100 yards and almost averaged 5 yards a carry, dog. Like, great system, great talent. You get an MVP. And to me, this is the game where he took it. And the reason why I say he took it is because he had the signature moment of the game. He broke the game open on that 25-yard run. He broke 2 tackles. That was a nail in the coffin. When he scored, everybody knew the game was over at that point. There was nothing else to talk about. The Ravens knew it. The Eagles knew it. The Eagles fans that were in Baltimore knew it. The Baltimore fans that were in Baltimore knew it. They knew that shit was over. That's an MVP moment. Now, depending on what Josh Allen does, if Josh Allen goes absolutely crazy, which I doubt because that field is covered in snow right now. But if he goes absolutely bonkers against the 49ers, maybe. But right now, it's Saquon Barkley, right? And to get back to the Baltimore side, I do not want to be the guy that does what everybody does and throw rain on the parade that is Lamar Jackson, the Lamar Jackson celebration. But we have a job to do on this podcast, and that is to be objective. The same thing that we did with Anthony Richardson, we have to do it with Lamar Jackson. I understand that it is on us as black men to protect other black athletes, especially from the football perspective when so many fans are white and so many fans don't really like a lot of the black athletes because they're rich and blah, 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 whatever, right? But we got to keep it a bean with Lamar. Lamar is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. Lamar Jackson is one of the greatest football players we've ever seen. Nobody's taking that away from him.
Easily.
But there are too many times where you have a game where it feels like this. Yes, I said it at the beginning of the tirade or the beginning of the segment. This is on Justin Tucker. It absolutely is. He took 7 points away from his own team. Not even denying that. I watched the whole game. But Lamar Jackson had 2 opportunities for wide open touchdowns, and he airmailed it. Airmailed it. If you do what you're supposed to do, if you execute, Justin Tucker is not even in the fucking picture. There's no Justin Tucker to even begin with. Yeah, he might miss the point after, but you're getting the touchdown if you do what you're supposed to do. And it's the margins. The Baltimore Ravens lose on margins.
Yep.
You don't just dominate the Baltimore Ravens, and that's what makes it worse. I'd rather you kick my ass. It's way harder to swallow a defeat where there's so many things that are self-imposed, whether it's the penalties at inopportune times, whether it is the missed throws, whether it is the drops, it's something. And that culmination is why we're still having these questions about Lamar Jackson this far into his career. People say, how can anybody rank Lamar Jackson behind Josh Allen? I've seen Josh Allen be the best player in the playoffs multiple times, dog, even in defeat. I can never say that about Lamar Jackson to this point. And go ahead.
No, what I'll say to this is that, Herbie, when watching this game, I mean, to be honest, like how I feel about Lamar has it is like it's the same. Like, but watching this game, I think is kind of just if you're a fan of the Ravens and you watch this game, you probably had a sick feeling that you might be feeling deja vu come January. Like you might be having like when they go up against the Chiefs, when they go up against the Bills again, because listen, they spanked the Bills the first time they played them. I don't think Buffalo would let that happen again. You know what I mean? Like with Josh, like a great quarterback with a great defense, I don't think you're just gonna get that. You got him on a bad day, right? Um, you know, the thing is, we know what Lamar Jackson brings to the table, right? Two-time
Absolutely.
MVP, one of the most
Absolutely.
special. Like honestly, Herbie, even though the comparison is kind of weird when you look at like their overall skill sets, he is this generation's Peyton Manning right now. Like he's the guy who he's winning the awards, but he doesn't have the playoff success, and he has a rival that he has not yet overcome. Those of us who grew up in the early 2000s, that seems kind of really familiar, right? Peyton Manning was the one winning the MVPs. Peyton Manning was considered widely a great, the best quarterback, one of the great quarterbacks, while Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls. And Patrick Mahomes right now is in his Tom Brady era. But when I look at the Ravens, Herbie, is when you watch the games like this, these are the games that make you think like, damn, Baltimore, like we want to believe in you. We always want to think this is the year, but when you see the game, you're going up against the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders in the NFC, no matter how anybody
Mm-hmm.
feels about it. You look at they're a complete football team. Baltimore is not a complete football team. Baltimore has a suspect special teams. Baltimore has a suspect defense. So even if Herbie, and this is just my opinion, even if Lamar is able to make the plays in a playoff game, if the other sides of the ball, if the other parts of your team can't hold their end of the bargain, you're just going to end up coming up short. And the sad part is, no matter what, because the quarterback's on the face, you're going to take the blame. Now, this
But
wasn't one of those games. This wasn't one of those games because their defense held the Eagles' offense in check for majority of the game. Like, it wasn't a game where the Eagles' offense was doing whatever they wanted. So any criticism he gets in this game is warranted because, like you said, he missed some golden opportunities to put the team ahead. But it's just this game just feels like a precursor for what's to come. That's how I see it.
and to me, and again, this is why I love the NFL because things change so fast. 4 weeks ago, I would have put my life savings on the Baltimore Ravens winning the championship because they looked that dominant. And then
Yeah.
they went and lost to the Browns. And then they lost to the Raiders. And then they lost this game. And now I'm just like, all right, come on, guys. Like, come on.
What are
Like,
we doing?
you guys, and I guess that's gonna be the theme of the episode, bruh. You niggas ain't beating the allegations, dog. It's a whole bunch of non-allegation beating ass teams in the NFL right now, dog.
Right
And it
now.
pains me. It pains me to, you as a fan of the Dolphins, me as a pseudo fan of the Ravens. It pains me to have this conversation on this platform, but we got to keep it a bean, dog. One niggas can't play in the cold, and one niggas just let shit happen that just blows up in their face, bro. Them niggas, they walk around with C4, dog. They just walk around with C4 that's gonna explode in their face sooner or fucking later, bro. That's the Baltimore Ravens, man.